Alright guys, welcome back. In the last video we went and picked up our Wondrous Flask of Physic as well as a Dectus Medallion half and our new Ash of War for our Uchi Katana. And in this one I want to head towards these catacombs that are located by this tree up this hill and pick up my second weapon to replace my shield. At the Stormhill Shack here, there's a character that is very important for solo players. She upgrades your spirits, which you can summon in battles. Right now we don't have any, but she's going to give us a jellyfish. I do skip dialogue most of the time. If you want to hear what the characters say, there's plenty of content out there that goes over what they say. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to be skipping past most of what they say. Alright, so we're going to follow this path down this road. There's a site of grace somewhere around here, and then we'll head up towards that item, the Uchi Katana. On the way though, I think I'm going to grab this tier up here. I cannot remember which one it is, but I believe it is helpful for the early game, if I recall. It's guarded by this giant, it's right here. The strength one. Okay, I believe that gives you +5 strength for a limited duration after you drink your flask. Which, if you have weapons that scale off strength at all, it'll effectively increase the damage that they output. Grab these fire arrows by this gentleman. We're going to be skipping past a lot of these earlier guys. Right here is a merchant that sells Ashes of War. He can be good early on to give your weapon different scaling. For example, tell him your faith holds firm. And then, for example, we can get quick step here. And we should be able to throw that on our Uchi Katana if we like. Quick step right here. See, it increases our scaling with dexterity, changes it from a D rating to a B, which will effectively increase our damage. Now, I think I'm going to go with that one for now. I know the bleed is really nice to have, and that is what our build is for, but early on, we're not going to be able to utilize it fully. So now I'm going to go ahead and keep making our way down this path. There's a little outpost right here, a little camp. We're going to take out the enemies and get some runes. We got their pants. Same weight as ours, and they have a little bit better physical defenses. Now this quick step allows us to dodge and sometimes even get behind the enemy we're fighting, which is nice when you don't have a shield that can block 100% physical damage. May also allow us to get backstabbed a little easier. That was a bad move. Try to take this guy out. He's interrupting our fight. we'll just keep circling, backstabbing. This guy can really outlast our damage that we can output, so we're just going to take advantage of our Ash of War and stay behind him. There's a couple more dogs right here. I believe there is a sorcerer. No, that's in a different area. Salted flesh, I believe you can consume that for a temporary boost to damage output. Great if you like consumables, but I've never been a fan of using consumables. I just always forget. There's a nice shield we can use for now. This one blocks 100% physical damage. So we can actually protect ourselves a little bit better. Now with the dogs, we can do counterattacks as long as they don't interrupt us with another one. And counterattacks often stun enemies. They do a lot of poise damage. With this camp done, our next area is right up here. Rather than following the path, you just cut off to this side path, and there's a pair of doors here next to a ghost. And we'll go ahead and light this shrine. Gonna go ahead and level up our damage output. The stat we use currently is dexterity. If you remember, we have a B scaling on our dexterity. Now we just picked up some root resin. If we combine those with the blood roses that we got from Fort Height, we can make blood grease. And blood grease will coat the weapon we have in our right hand with an effective blood loss strategy. Now, this area is really dangerous for us. We're not the proper level to be here. We don't do enough damage to these skeletons to actually fight more than one at a time. And as you can see there, they will attempt to revive themselves while you're fighting them. So I'm just going to run through and grab some items and hopefully avoid all of the skeletons. There's the Uchi katana. We'll grab these grave cloveworts and we will activate this lever. Now, usually in dungeons you have to find this lever here to unlock the door to the boss. As you can see, it's very easy to get overwhelmed in these dungeons if you don't take your time. But we were only here to grab the Uchi katana. Now the boss door is open, and we can come back and fight the boss. You rest at the site of grace as long as there's no enemies like really close to it, and it will de-aggro everyone and reset their spawns. Now that we have the second Uchi katana, we can dual wield them, and that gives you access to an alternate move set with them. Now I am what is known as fat rolling. You never want to be fat rolling. That reduces the amount of invincibility frames that you have when you roll. Obviously, if you don't have a shield, you're going to want to be able to roll. Moving on, now that we have our second weapon, we're going to continue down this bridge, and I believe around this area there is a talisman. Now talismans like their main focus is to give you like passives that aid you And this specific talisman increases our stamina regeneration. There's an NPC up there named Alexander calling for help. I don't want to start his quest line just yet. Another pumpkin head. Oh, I'm actually picking with that. I rode right into it. Another smithing stone right there. There's a merchant right here. He resembles Kale. All the merchants look alike, and I believe they're linked to the Frenzied Flame ending when it comes to like a lore perspective. There's another NPC right there named D. He's pretty cool. He hunts down undead. And I believe he's got a twin brother. His quest line is alright. We'll touch this grace here. As I said earlier, graces are your checkpoints. It's where you respawn when you die if there's no stake of America nearby. We're gonna ride past this mini boss here and use an item I picked up earlier called the Stone Sword Key. Now this gives us access to our talisman and a bunch of turtles. Green turtle talisman. Raises stamina recovery speed. So now when I was gonna show you, but I'm not in combat, which is nice about this game. If you're not in combat, you don't lose stamina, so you can sprint forever, you can try out your movesets without actually losing stamina, and all sorts of fun stuff. Now that we have our talisman and our weapon... Sorry, that distracted me. I don't know what's going on there. Now that we have our talisman and our weapon, let me think. I think I want to head towards an NPC invader and head to a cave that's got another merchant in it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this video here. In the next one, we're going to go unlock a new merchant and head towards an area up here in the right side that will give us the other half of the Dectus medallion and a bunch of runes. So I'll see you in the next one.